Black lives matter. Brown lives matter. Trans lives matter. Yep. Every movement that you black people are a part of, what happens? Well, they do a great job of trying to make sure that somebody else latches on and does like shake and bake and gets thrown ahead of you. It's your job to be the magic man. Ladies and gentlemen, a headline reads like this. A Detroit pastor is being charged in the murder of a trans woman. Trans woman. I feel sorry for the young man who lost his life.
It's a man.
In a senseless murder. But there was no woman murdered in this story.
Hell no.
We know that society believes that women are better people than men, and that their lives are worth more than men.
Right.
So that's why you will have a label, trans woman.
Trans woman.
But what this really is a man.
Motherfucking dude.
A man dressing up as a woman. A man who still has all its man parts. And what's funny is we're being told that being a woman is not a look. Yet these men, when they want you to believe they're women, when they want you to refer to them as women, they don't walk around like a dude and then ask you to. They try to fool you. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of points being made in this story. So might as well go ahead and break some news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TNN News. Your host, Tom. Hello, everyone. I'm Tommy Sotomayor, and we're going to break a little bit of news right here. And it comes out of the city of Detroit.
Detroit.
America's Toilet Bowl is back in the news again. And this time they're in the news talking about a so-called transgender woman. And this transgender woman should not be referred to as a woman. I'm going to continue to tell you guys this. And I'm also going to let you guys look at the mother and talk to you guys about how they claim this transgender person was a activist. An activist that was gunned down, murdered, killed, life extinguished by whom? A so-called pastor. Now the headline is salacious on its own, just saying, hey, a pastor killed an individual. That in itself stirs the imagination, stirs the mind. So let me read a little bit from what this is as we get into it. Here's how it was reported by Fox 2 News. It says, pastor charged for the murder of a transgender woman. And it says, after Jessica Williams Straw's child, Kelly Straw, who was transgender, was killed in Detroit, she has been spreading the message that every life has a meaning. So what we're going to do is reach over here and go over into the news clip. I don't even know if I have it queued up. I kind of do, but kind of don't. Let's see. It actually looks like it might fit. So I might get lucky. Just got lucky. Let's see if we got it.
Life has value and meaning. That is the method. Each and every life has value and meaning. That is the message Jessica Williams Stow is spreading now more than ever since her transgendered child, Kelly Stow, was killed in Detroit.
Keep fighting, keep pushing, and just live your life. Don't let the world dictate how you should live.
I'm not trying to be funny. No, I'm not trying to be funny.
Okay.
But if you listen to the mother, if I'm not mistaken, those of you who are listening maybe a little bit better than me, does the mother not sound like the mother could have been a transgender? See, that's what I hate about dealing with what we have to deal with in the black community, because a lot of our women have deep voices and sound like this. As a matter of fact, there's a few YouTube ladies who have deep voices and sound like this. And they are making videos about me every day. Voice. Let's see what else she has to say.
Kelly was born Tristan and endured a lot growing up.
He was always a happy kid.
Kelly was born Tristan and...
Boy, that's a whole grown man right there.
That's a big motherfucker. Big show motherfucker.
That's a big boy, too.
Yeah, man.
And endured a lot growing up.
He was always a happy kid, but, bullied, because of his tendencies.
Tristan
Bullied because of his tendencies. What were his tendencies? Can you be a little more clear with us on what were his tendencies?
would take a football scholarship to college in South Dakota, but realized it wasn't the life for him.
Came back and we talked about it, and he really liked fashion, wanted to be a buyer, designer.
It was then, Mom says, that her child embraced life as a transgendered person. And on December 7th, police say Stow's path.
I want y'all to listen to how she talked about her son again.
Buyer, designer.
It wasn't the life for him.
Came back.
They said him. Now, you guys know that the transgenders get mad when you refer to them as him or her. So let's see if they go after these liberals and the mother for referring to their own son as son and him.
And we talked about it, and he really liked fashion.
She said, and he really liked fashion.
Be a buyer, designer.
It was then, Mom says, that her child embraced life as a transgendered person. And on December 7th, police say Stow's path crossed with this man's, 46-year-old Albert Weathers. Stow was found shot to death on the corner of East McNichols and Brush Street.
What do you think Stow was doing on the corner of East McNichols and Brush Street? This activist.
Weathers, a Detroit pastor, was arrested for murder. No one answered the door at the pastor's home in Sterling Heights. No calls were returned from the former church in Warren, where he was listed as a pastor from 1997 to 99. And while we
see, this is why I cannot stand the media. See, they call this man a pastor, but he hadn't been a pastor since 1999. So why would he be still called a pastor? It's obviously the man has fallen and has been kicked out of the church. But one of the great things they're doing with a 1-2 punch is making the black church look bad, all while trying to make these transgenders feel like women and feel like victims. Because they're sure not going into any details, but let's continue.
Wait for answers as to why this 36-year-old was killed. The victim's mother says now is the time for support.
Be there for them, because it's the most important part. If it's okay at home, I think it's easier for them to cope outside of home.
With that in mind, a GoFundMe has been created to help pay for funeral expenses. You can find a link at fox2detroit.com. Pastor Weathers in a Detroit jail locked up on a $1 million bond for first-degree murder. He's expected back in court later this month. In Detroit, Dave Spencer, Fox 2 News.
All right, guys, so what we're going to do...
Watch all your favorite Fox shows.
Damn. What we're going to do is get into this a little bit. Because I want you guys to understand something about what you just heard. Rolling Stone did an article about this, and you can also read parts of the quotes from this on the website. Just go to Sotomayor, ENT, or TommySotomayor.com.
ENT.
They wrote this. Straw was an aspiring fashion designer and well known in Detroit's ballroom dance scene. She also, they keep referring to him as she, also was an outspoken advocate for her community. They're doing this on purpose. Speaking out against the violence facing trans people, and especially trans women of color.
Trans women of color. Trans women of color.
The police are unaware within our struggle, so there have been no sympathy for us, she told The Guardian in 2015 after the murder of a 20-year-old trans woman by the name of Amber in Palmer Park, the same neighborhood where Straw was killed 3 years later. There are 29 recorded murders of trans people in 2017, making it the deadliest year on record for trans people in the United States. And 2018 numbers show that the threat is not letting up. The National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, the NCAVP, tracks homicides of LGBTQ people and put out a report last year showing that trans women of color are at greater risk of being killed in hate crimes than any other group, and that rates of these murders have been steadily rising over the last several years. Abuse is based on sexual orientation and gender identity cannot be tolerated, says Laura Palumbo. In 2019, we need more efforts to promote the visibility of transgender individuals in our community. Man, I'd let y'all read that crap on the website. I don't want to hear that.
A bunch of bullshit.
They claim that since that Straw is the 26th trans person murdered in 2018. 26th trans person murdered in 2018.
This shit's sick, man.
If there was 29 in 2017, sounds like the crime's going down.
Yeah, it's going down. Sound like it.
Unless you plan on having 3 more happen in the next few days. But here's my question that none of you will ask. Why is it that this person was on the streets? Now, I have an article here which says that they have proof that it was all done because the man hated, or that it had something to do with the person's. Let's just read it. Evidence about how Straw's transgender status had a role will be presented in court, according to the Wayne County prosecutor. But then they declined to say anything more. Now, I want to read to you guys what the GoFundMe page says, if you can hold on 1 second. The GoFundMe page that was set up is at $5,524. They were asking for $4,000. Let me read to you, or maybe I'll let you guys see for yourself. Nope. Sorry about that. I'll let you guys see for yourself exactly what's being asked for by the Dean family. And I want you guys to think for a second. This was a 36-year-old grown-ass man.
Big Show.
Just so you guys know what we're dealing with here. This was a 36-year-old grown-ass man. Listen, my name is Nicole M. Mapson Cone. I am from Detroit, Michigan. Tristan Kelly was named Strong, is my first cousin. And her mother, Jessica Williams, is my aunt. The funds will be used for funeral arrangements, obituaries, and a repast for his friends and family. I don't know what repast is. I will be withdrawing the money and giving it directly to Jessica Williams to take care of her current balances for funeral arrangements. The broken heart and tears that just won't stop is one of the most painful experiences imaginable. My family and I wanted to let you know that we've lost our beloved Tristan Kelly to a senseless, cowardly act of hateful violence. Please keep my family in your prayers and cherish your loved ones. With a gracious heart, thank you. With a gracious heart, thank everyone who donated to help her mother be able to celebrate this wonderful life. A 36-year-old grown man, I want you to understand. Let's say it again. 36-year-old grown man who goes around and is an advocate for everything other than life insurance. A 36-year-old man decides that he wants to take his money and buy makeup so he can look like a she. Buy clothes so he can look like a she. Buy wigs so he can look like a she. Get his tuck game up. But the 36-year-old who's out trying to make sure that trans people don't get killed knew the high risk of being a trans person of color, and yet didn't do one simple act of have life insurance. Not only did the person not have life insurance, the person's mother didn't have life insurance. Damn. So you can go out and advocate for all this. You can go out and take as much dick as you want. You can try your best to be a woman, but you cannot try to be responsible. Why don't you do that? Since all of you can pretend to be women, why can't you pretend to be responsible? Does this person deserve to die? No, but let's pay attention to what happened. You got shot on the street. This ex-pastor looks like he was probably some type of disgraced ex-pastor. Was probably out trolling for some tail. One scenario. Reached between your legs, saw you were not a woman.
That pole, I was like, oh, holy fuck up.
And decided to shoot you. Second scenario.
I think it's a second.
Disgraced, dirty-ass ex-pastor, which is what should have been said, but they wouldn't. Disgraced, dirty-ass ex-pastor had been carrying on an affair with you.
That's what I believe.
And you decided to tell the world or threaten.
Right.
That I'm going to tell you a little secret.
That's what I believe right there.
That's how you end it.
That's the truth. Y'all was having another.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the only two scenarios that you have. Because other than that, there's no way if you're saying, well, we believe this person killed this person because they were trans. There was no way that he would have known you were trans unless you did something to acknowledge. Because, well, you look like the average black chick, overweight, full of weave.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
And having no responsibility for yourself.
You ain't got health insurance.
You can color contacts, but No, and life insurance. My grandmother had life insurance on me. My mother has life insurance on me. It doesn't even make sense that somebody doesn't do it, even if you didn't. But mother was talking about how, he. Well, here's another breaker right here, guys. He apparently didn't have his father around because we haven't heard from any male figure in his life. So hence he spent his life like T.S. Madison saying, I want to be like the best person I know, my mom. So in an effort to be like your mama, you want to be fat and feminine.
Oh, shit.
Now again, if masculinity is not going to be something that we cherish and worship in this society, then what are we going to do with a whole bunch of effeminate men running around?
Oh, fuck no.
And why do you keep calling somebody trans when they haven't gotten this surgery or anything? They're just dressed up like a woman, and then you turn around and say a woman isn't a look. So if a woman isn't a look, but you're trying to look like what isn't a look,
fucking dress and you a transgender.
nobody finds that problematic. So you can look at me and hate me all you want. I don't really give a shit. The truth of the matter is, this individual did something that led to their death. Doesn't mean they deserved death, but they did something that led to it. The question is what? Because they're not putting it out. Stop calling grown-ass men with tallywhackers women.
Tallywhacker.
Don't put some prefix or suffix on it. It's a fucking man.
Fucking dude.
And now we've gotten to the point where the new rules on Instagram say if you refer to a person by their regular name, if you refer to a person by their correct gender, you will be banned.
Oh, that's it.
So let me get it straight. I make YouTube videos. They can throw out any of my past because they don't like them.
Transgenders got more rights than a black man.
But we are to shield a transgender person from this because we want to keep their secret that they used to be a man. They used to be a woman. They still are a man. They still are a woman.
Oh, they.
We gotta keep this secret from the public to make them feel better. But people like me who are just talking, well, because we're heterosexual men, we're up for all kinds of crap. Hey, you can show up at our house, you can threaten our lives, you can make YouTube videos with all our personal information on it. It don't matter because you're a heterosexual man and nobody gives a crap about you in the United States of America.
Unless you want to be a woman.
26 whole damn people. And then we want to be told, a trans person was murdered. But when a white person's murdered, it's just a murder.
Just a murder. It ain't shit.
Asian person murdered is just a murder.
It's normal.
But when it's a trans person murdered, look how these trans lives matter. They're dying.
They're going down. They want everybody to be gay.
What about military lives matter? What about veteran lives matter?
They want everybody to be gay.
What about fathers who work their ass off to try and take care of their children and they die in these damn mines or on construction sites? What about their lives matter? There are more heterosexual men who die on construction sites than these damn transsexuals.
Facts. I don't ever heard about that.
Do you care about that? There are more men who lose their lives to straight up suicide simply because they can't adjust to the life that's going on out here now with what the liberals are doing, i.e. robbing them of their money via child support, robbing them of their money via alimony, palimony, and any other fucking money. Money, alimony, palimony. This ain't good. It ain't right. I said no. Anyway. But we are going to ignore what these men are going through because they're actual men. The only time the public, the world, cares about men is when they start acting like women. That's a damn shame. Wow. Anyway, if you are the mother or the cousin or whatever of a transgender person and you believe that they're being chased down and murdered, one of the first things you might need to do is get them some damn life insurance.
Life insurance, that tighten up.
Because it's really dangerous to be a trans woman of color. Number two, before they even get to that point, do the world a favor and get them a father.
Yeah, man.
Somebody that actually wants to be there.
Daddy.
Someone that actually cares.
Drug his ass through the ringer.
Number three, stop referring to your son as female. I don't care how many children I have. Let one of them grow up to be a woman. Still a boy. I'm not going to call you by your so-called effeminate name.
I'll call you sir.
I'm just not. I'm not going to refer to you as her.
Him downstairs.
Won't do it. If you'd like to do it, that's on you. But right now, in the words of the Temptations, we live in a ball of confusion. And I, for one, am not going to participate in a lie. Because guess what? Sometimes I feel that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. I dream I move. I dream I groove like Mike. But I'm not Mike, and you can't call me Mike. If I wake up tomorrow and say I'm LeBron James, you should be able to let me down in the Staples Center and go in the starting five and give me a couple of passes from my man Lance to make him dance Stevens. But you're not going to do it, and you're not going to let me be Steph Curry, and you're not going to let me tell people I feel like I'm 21 even though I'm not, and you're not going to let me tell people I feel like I'm rich and I'm not, and you're not going to tell people that they must address me as I feel, and yet for some reason you're trying to convince me that I should address this grown-ass man as a woman because he want to feel like one? Well, I, for one, ladies and gentlemen, will not participate in your madness and your confusion. No. Neither should you. Those people should be able to live whatever damn life they want to. And so should the other people who refuse to join in on their fucking delusion. Tommy Sotomayor.
Fuck you.
Fuck you and good night.